Hey, and welcome to another Front-End Engineering Explained. So my Squircle isn't really better than your circle. That was just a clickbait, as they call it. Um, but Squircle is a thing. It's not a made-up word. There's a whole bunch of math behind this thing, and it is basically a intermediate shape between a square and a circle. Now, when border radius came out back in the day to CSS, a lot of us who were making rounded corner things back in the day were angry and excited at the same time because now doing it is so darn simple. But at the same time, it's like, why did we have to struggle all this years to make a rounded corner box? Because believe me, it was quite the thing. It involved many little PNG with transparency and floats and absolute positioning and a lot of fun. Not. But we have border radius, and that's super cool, and it's unlocked a whole bunch of stuff. And for example, your classic like circular avatar is less dead simple to do. You don't even have to go into Photoshop and already make it a circle with transparency and export it as a PNG. And then, no, it can be any shape, and you can just border radius 50%, and you've got a circular container, and it clips away everything else. And if the image is not the right aspect ratio, you can use aspect ratio to force that. And if that screws things up, you can use object fit cover. It's lovely. But what if you want something in between a circle and a square? A squircle? Well, that's not so easy yet, but we're getting corner shape. And there's a lot more to corner shape. And if you saw something here, you would see this word super ellipse based squircle. And that is the type of squircle that we get in CSS. And super ellipse, that is a hint to a future video because super ellipse is a thing that's going to be coming to CSS. And where it's going to fit into the CSS space is corner shape. And so this little demo I wanted to show you is going to show you the difference between a squircle and a circle. And this is based on border radius. So what's happening in this demo? There's two blocks. The pink one is using border radius. The purple one is using border radius, but also it has corner shape set to squircle. And then as I drag the slider, it's going to increase the border radius by a step percentage. So let's quickly have a look at the code. So here we go. Here's just our two little containers. Here's our border radius. So this is just where we're going to output the border radius. And then we have our input range and just our little label. This is, if for example, I should open this in another browser. I think this one. Yep. Then you get this message. Unfortunately, it does not yet support corner shape. So I just use a little bit of CSS down here at support. And then depending if your browser supports Squircle, more specifically corner shape, then I will, if it doesn't support it, I'll show the message. If it does support it, which by the way, the latest release, so this is not beta or canary or anything, so latest release, Chrome 141, but I believe this was in Chrome 140 already. This will work there. So if you want to try this out, that is the browser you want to use. If all's good, you're going to see the example that you saw, and then there's just a little bit of JavaScript. And all this does is we have our unit that's set to percentage currently. And we just output our text content, our border radius, which here is just a calculation of 0 and the unit as a string. And then down here, as we drag our little range input, we just get the value back. We combine it, and then we set this custom property radius, which we are then using in our CSS. And all our CSS is, as you can see, the interesting parts down here is we have squircle and radius, block size 15 rem for block and inline size of 15 rem for both of them. We have a little transition, which you'll see, but of course you don't have to have that. Then our squircle has our Rebecca purple background color. It has the border radius set to whatever the radius custom property is, shared between the two, so they both get exactly the same value. But then the big difference between our squircle and our radius is this sets this top border radius with our hot pink background color, but then this one sets that corner shape squircle. As you can see right now, we're getting unknown property because Stylen doesn't yet know about it. And that's it. That's it. So the only real difference is this one little line over here. And so what's the end result? Let's jump back to Chrome. So now when we drag it, boop, 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 boop. And there you can see when we hit 50%, we now have our circular square, well, our circle on the right, and we have our squircle on the left. And this is where we're going to end, right? This is our squircle's shape. So again, if we go all the way back, we step in increments of 5%, and you can see how the browser is keeping our shape on the left. So it retains that shape, that's that in-between shape between being a square and being a circle. It's not either. It's like towing the line between the two. And so this is one of the things that's going to come with corner shape. I wanted to share this. I think it's a little fun little demo, but it's also fun shape that we're going to be able to start using. And in some ways you can already use it as a progressive enhancement depending on your design. But there's more coming. There's more corner shapes like scoop and bevel, and then there's super ellipse, and more on that in the next video. If you enjoyed this and you want more content like this, subscribe, hit the like button, have fun on the web, make awesome things, and until the next one, peace.